YouTube. This is RC Buggy Bash and I'm Jason. And this is the Tamiya Saint Dragon. This is the almost finished car that I took all the footage of. That was so very disappointing to find out that it all been corrupted and basically lost it all. And I now no longer have the build video. But I wanted to go over the car anyway. Go over some of the things that I did in the build, some of the stuff that I changed, I added. There's no complaints. It's a brilliant car. It was a really nice build. It was a very pleasant build to do. The Tamiya Saint Dragon is it's a good design. The way that it's been made and put together. It's based on a car from 1987, the Terra Conqueror, Terra series of cars, Terra Dragon maybe as well, Terra Scorcher possibly. They released several, same chassis, different body shells. It's an evolution of the Hot Shot as such. It's kind of going from that era. The first ones of this particular design were monoshock, in the same way as the Hot Shot was originally. I think the Super Saber might have been on this with a monoshock suspension at the front. I've done my own livery. I mean, nothing wrong with the Tamiya one, but I'm a black and white kind of guy with just one or two bits of colour in it. So I did my own. The body comes pre-painted with this particular one, so it's already white, which is great for me because all my body shells are basically white with flourishes, occasionally bright orange and stuff in there. But yeah, what a brilliant build this was. And oh my gosh, value for money at the moment. This is, I'm not exactly sure what it would be in dollars, but it's under $100. I think it's £89. Without a speed controller, but with a motor, and you just can't go wrong with that. That's cheaper than a grasshopper, pretty much. And it's a four-wheel drive, shaft-driven car. It has its faults. It has some weak points. I'll point to them in a second or two. But it's a Tamiya. It's a 1980s, late 80s Tamiya. It's quirky. It's cool. It's a bit Marmite. You either love it or hate it. I have no idea what these things are at the back. They're kind of like bunny ears, possibly something like that, or Batman. Could have done it like a Batman car. Anyway, thoroughly enjoyable build. Nothing went wrong. It was a very simple. It's a lovely car to build. It's great. It was a nice 3 or 4 hours just slowly putting together while filming, obviously. It's a monocoque chassis tub, classic 80s kind of Tamiya stuff. If you squint and look real hard, you can see how it's evolved from things like the Hot Shot and the Fox. I have a Nova Fox, which I'll probably go over at some point in the not too distant future. But it's a really clean design. It's very easy to get into, great access to everything. It comes with a dust protector, which I'm currently in the process of painting. That just slots in and then screws in the top there, and that gives a nice bit of dust protection to it. As I said, really easy access to the major components. It's got most of the electrics in there. I still need to get a transmitter and everything fitted to it. But I've got a Hobbywing 1060. I've got a Core RC servo underneath the ESC. Nothing too special. I think it's a 6 kilogram. It's not massively fast, but I don't think it needs to be for these kind of cars. When I built this one, I've put it together fully bull raced. The bull races, the bearings came from rcbearings.co.uk. I use them every time I've got to get a car, build a car. They do everything in sets. You just select the car you need. They send you the bearings, and very, very reasonably priced. I think they might have been £12 for the bearing set, maybe thereabouts. So it has that. I'm gonna put 12mm hex wheels on, even though I love these wheels. They're really cool. I'm tempted to also paint in the text in white because that always looks nice, but knowing my hands, I'll slip. Other things that I did with this, the suspension. I have slightly updated the suspension, so it's now got the Tamiya DTO2 spring. I'm just grabbing it from a drawer over here so you can see. So these are now the soft springs from the Tamiya DTO2 upgrade set. They're basically a like for like fit. They share the same sizes of the shocks and everything, so it was a really simple fix to put on. And that means it now has a nice settle to it. It has droop. Droop is when you let the car fall, it settles slightly into itself rather than standing prone. The stock shock springs on this, the classic Tamiya Silvers, are really bouncy, and you'd have to do significant changes with the oil, I think, and the pistons to be able to outdo that. And that's complicated. That's too much complication. So I kept the pistons inside pretty much stock. They are the 3 holes that they recommend in the instructions. I did drill them because I knew I was going to be putting softer springs on, and I wanted the flow to be, I want it to be less dampening inside than what it already was, so that it has that droop, so it can settle. And the result is really, really nice. I've added on. I'm using the ride height clips just to raise it up a little bit at the front, and it's now sitting pretty level. And yeah, it's a really nice feeling car now. I'm very excited about driving it. Other things that I added. This has a weak spot. It's very common. You can't see it for the bumper underneath there. Maybe you can actually see it that way. Yes. So this front mount basically holds everything together. There, it holds onto the hinge pins that go through, holding the lower arms on, and that fastens it to the gearbox and the bumper, and that's part of the whole structure of this car. It is a weak point, but you know, these cars are not designed to be massive bashers or competitive racers or anything like that. Even though I think it could be quite competitive within its class, but I've got a steel part there now. It's just a brace, just to add a little bit more strength into that for when I'm driving it. It's not a competitive car, but I think out of all of this era's chassis designs, this is one of the best ones, I think. I mean, I'm still a massive fanboy of the Hot Shot. I had one when I was younger. I still would like to get another one, but this was one of my dreams. In 1987, I was 17, and I was just leaving the hobby, as you do at times, and this was coming out, or this chassis was just about to be released, and it tempted me. And now I've got one, mainly because it's £89. It's a steal. I mean, if you've got a little bit of disposable income and you're a Tamiya fan, you should get one if they're still available, which they were the last time I checked. It's still available as of February the 1st, 2025. You can still get this without the ESC, but still with the classic 540 motor. That's still there. £89. 4-wheel drive, propeller shaft driven. Brilliant. I'm probably going to keep the propeller shaft. I know you can get alloy updates for a nice prop shaft and everything, but this being a thin sprung steel means it's not affecting the handling too much, the flight characteristics. And yes, RC cars fly. If you have a big drive shaft off center that is spinning, the centrifugal forces will turn that car. It will pitch it slightly in the direction of the drive, which in this case going forward is right. So it'll pitch possibly that way if it's got a big chunky drive shaft. Which is why most drive shafts are straight down the middle. Even they can offset things a little bit. But I'm just going to keep it with this. I'm not planning on doing anything major with it. I'm hoping that my local club for local people will have an off-road track at some point this year, and I would love to use this there along with my TTO2 and my DTO2. Those will be the 3 cars that I'll be running, I hope. But yeah, it was a brilliant build. I'm still devastated that I lost all the footage. Really hurts, but it's here now. I have it, and it's lovely. It really is nice. So highly recommend. Any other things of note? It's a Tamiya. It's got quirks. I'm not the biggest fan of how it is literally just gearbox chassis. There's no protection underneath. Maybe I'll do a plate or something there. The material is very flexible, but that's because it's just a little fun bashy car to have. But great build. I'm tempted to potentially do another one at some point. I do have another body shell that I might put onto this. It's the Terra Conqueror body shell, which I prefer over the Saint Dragon. However, I do like this now. This has grown on me. It's a bit like Marmite, it has grown on me. But it's the controversy of it, because the Saint Dragon was originally a two-wheel drive car, of the kind of Madcap era, or the Tamiya Astute. It was that kind of chassis. But then when Tamiya re-released Saint Dragon, it came out on this platform, 4-wheel drive, but with the old body shell. But I love it, and yeah, highly recommend. If you're wanting a Tamiya to build at a very, very good price point, grab one of these. You can't go wrong. It was a pleasure to build it, and I think it's going to be just as much as a pleasure to drive it. So there we go. That is my Tamiya Saint Dragon in all its glory. So next video will be something a bit different. Probably won't be a buggy, but it will be another Tamiya, and one of my other guilty pleasures that I drive around from time to time. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be some running videos of this, possibly some update videos once the weather gets a bit better. And yeah, I've got a lot in store for this year. 2025, I'm hoping, is going to be a really busy one for this channel. I have a much cooler setup now to be able to do different forms of videos. I've got multi-cameras set up as well. Hopefully to be able to do some just conversational pieces. I'm set up for doing live streaming if I want to. So yeah, big things are going to be coming this year, not only for the channel but also cars. We've obviously just had the Nuremberg Fair. The Tamiya DTO4 has just been announced, and that looks amazing. So that's thrown a spanner in the works, because I was going to be doing a different car about that time of year, but I think I'll probably do the DTO4 if I'm able. That I will do a build video, definitely a run video, and I'm hoping to be able to get some track footage, both bashing, indoor, outdoor, lots of stuff coming. So do stay tuned, do like and subscribe. It helps a massive amount. I'm hoping to get to 500 subscribers this year, maybe 1,000. 1,000 would be incredible. Your support is amazing. And yeah, if you have any comments or want to ask anything, then just make a comment down there. And I will see you in the next video. Stay safe all. Have fun with RC.